Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be covering how to use the ampersand or the character that represents and in Excel. This will be a way to write cleaner and faster formulas. And if you want to follow along, this Excel file will be available to download on my website. And downloading this file will be as simple as following the link in the description or down in the comments, and then going to the section that says create better formulas using the ampersand in Excel, and then just click here to download file, and it will download that file that you can open and follow along. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. So to get introduced into how to use the ampersand, we have a few examples. So we have some text of Mike and Smith, so a first name, last name, and some numbers. But we'll want to hit equal, and then we can select a cell. So we'll select Mike, and then if we add an ampersand, this will combine the value of a cell with another cell. So we have Mike, and we're saying and E3 or Smith, hit enter, and it comes back with Mike Smith. Now there is not a space between this name, which there normally would be with a first last name. So if we go back into this formula, we can actually add another ampersand, and we'll want to add a space. So to add a space, we'll actually want it to be like text. So we don't just want to add a space here. We'll want to type a double quote, a space, and then another double quote. Anything in between the double quotes will be text. So it's just adding a space. If we hit enter, it will now be Mike Smith with a space. And so we could actually add more text in here. We already have a space there. Now we'll add a middle name, which would be James. So we type James, add another space. So there's a space in the front and the back of James, which comes back with Mike James Smith. With this being the shorthand way of concatenating, we can do the same thing with a function, which would be concatenate. So we'll start by typing concat, double click, we'll take the first text, we'll add a comma, we'll add double quote, space, James, double quote, we'll add a space at the end of James, then we'll want to add another comma and select Smith. So if we hit enter, it will give us the same value, but this is using a function with commas, and this is just using ampersand, which is, in my opinion, easier to read and much easier to type. And this will commonly be used in programming languages. So once you learn it here, if you went on further to learn any programming languages, it's likely that you would be using ampersands as an and within that programming language. But for this next example, we'll now use numbers. So we can type equals 1, ampersand, add 2, ampersand 3. So when we hit enter, it comes back with 1, 2, 3. So it just takes those 3 values and combines them. But another thing that using ampersands or concatenating can be used for is, say we want to take the values of 1 plus 2, which would be 3. Then we can also add an ampersand and add a 3. So it will take these first two values of 1 plus 2 being 3, and then add on the and 3, which would give us 33. So it can be used to add different operations, such as adding two values and adding something to the end of it. And we can also combine these numbers. So we have 33 being the 1 plus 2 and 3. We could just add an and add Smith on the end. So you can combine numbers and operations and text. And this would be a really quick way. So this formula right here, with it being that short, adds all those different values into one cell. And so those are kind of the main concepts behind this, and I'll show you some more examples with actual data. And the example data I'll be using will be from Steam game data, which will include a game name, different ratings, discounts, pricing, and release date in the different operating systems being Windows, Linux, and Mac. And this was fetched at August 11th, 2025. So with concatenating and using an ampersand to take different values and combine them, it'll all depend on what you want to get out of the data, how you want to consolidate it, or to find insights that you've been asked to find. So for this example, just looking at this data, these are 3 operating systems that you could filter this table and look for what's available on Mac. But we could also create a cell. So if we add a column, we'll create a column that has all 3 of these combined. So we'll type equals, we'll take Windows and Linux and Mac, and we'll copy these down, and we'll just name this column OS, meaning all the operating systems. We'll add a filter to this table. Let's find all the ones that are available on all 3. With it being 111, we know that this will be available on Windows, Linux, and Mac. So this is a quick way to use a formula without using a logical function to find all the ones that are available across all operating systems. And inversely, all the ones that are not available all look to be soundtracks, which would make sense. So that's a quick way we can concatenate and just have a function that just takes the 3 cells and combines them into one value. And so we can get rid of this filter. And then there could be other ways we want to consolidate this data, and it would just be dependent. Let's say we don't care about the original price discount, and we just want the game and the rating to be combined into one cell. We could add a column right after the rating, and we could create a formula that would be equals the game name. Then maybe we want to add and using the ampersand sign to include double quote, put a space, then a dash, then another space, end quote. Then we'll use ampersand to add the rating. So this will take the game name and then add the rating at the end. So when we copy this down, it will just take those 2 cells and combine them. So we could change this to game and rating. If we copy this over, we could now, we'll actually want to copy this and paste it here. Then we can get rid of these 2 cells, columns, and that's a way to shorthand the data and consolidate it. And those were just 2 examples of using it on real data to consolidate or to make it easier to find criteria based on a different field, and how quickly you can use the ampersand to combine cells and values. But that's all I have for you in this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.